Hello everyone, welcome back to Dark Forest Books. I have missed YouTube. I have been making a bunch of short form content for YouTube Shorts, Reels, TikTok, things like that. I miss these long form videos where I can just tell you my stream of consciousness. Summer is officially over and we're heading into the fall months. It is still very hot in Texas, but I just choose to pretend like it's fall here. Anyway, let me tell you about the books I plan to read in September. I can tell I'm gonna have a few 5-star reads already. First up, because could there be another first for the month, it is Knave and The Moon by Rachel Gellig. In my previous video, I talked about upcoming September releases I was excited for, and I mentioned that this book was set to release on September 26th. I realized I misread the publication date. I think I was reading it too fast and I took it as September 26th was the publication date. It was like date, month, and year. And I felt so incredibly narrow-minded for not having picked that up. So I wanted to correct myself. Knave and The Moon will release on September 1st. I have this one on pre-order, so it will deliver to my Kindle the day it releases. And I am currently rereading Night in the Moth as preparation for it. Can I just say, as I'm rereading Night in the Moth, I realize this is why I love this story. The 5 maidens, the diviners, are on the wall as the king is approaching. And I sat there last night when I was reading and I was just like, oh my God, this is why I love this book. And it's not even chapter 3, I'm pretty sure, but it's just fun to relive it again and just remind myself God, this is why I love this book. I love this author. And it just makes me so excited for Knave and the Moon. I'm not even in the TBR and I'm just so off track. Finally getting into the books that we'll be reading in September. Like I said, Knave and the Moon is first, and let me give you a little refresher about what it's about. We pick back up with Sybil, or Six, as she moves forward with her marriage to Benji. She doesn't know the fate of Rory, Bartholomew, or Maud, and she's under the assumption that they're dead. It's impossible for Rory or Bartholomew to be dead, so I think we would all riot, but I'm excited to see when they're going to come back into the story and what their role is going to be. Anyway, going back to Benji and Sybil, Benji wants to have a display of power and essentially holds a gauntlet. Sybil is down for the count as Benji has her incapacitated, but she is determined to banish him like she has the other omens. And she is willing to sacrifice herself in the process if need be. As the gauntlet begins, our mysterious knave rises to the top and just might be the person that Sybil needs to really be Benji's undoing. I have consistently thought about Night in the Moth since I finished it in March, and I am so excited for book 2. Like I mentioned before, I am really excited to see when Rory and Maud and Bartholomew will come into book 2, and I'm really excited to get to know our knave. He has no name, no memory, no backstory, and I'm really excited to get to know him, and I just love the air of mystery he has surrounding him already. I definitely want to get a trophy copy of Knave and the Moon. I just want to pick it up in person to ensure that it has sprayed edges. Here is my trophy copy of Night in the Moth. Gorgeous sprayed edges and gorgeous cover, but yeah, I just want to make sure that everything matches. In this book, I picked it up at Barnes & Noble's during their 50% off hardcover sale. Did I buy any hardcovers? Absolutely not. But when I picked up Night in the Moth, it came in the wrapping. I don't think you can really see that it's still in its saran wrap or plastic wrap, and I feel like I have some collector's edition Pokemon card. But yeah, I really love the sprayed edges. The cover kind of has some silver foiling. I don't think you can really see it, but it's really pretty. Like I said in the beginning, I am making my way through Night in the Moth in preparation for book 2, and I wish that we could have a release reading party. I think that would be so fun. Next, we have Starling House by Alex Harrow. She is the author of the book that broke my reading scale in August. I had no idea that she was the same author as my 6-star read when I added Starling House to my September TBR. I'm sorry to be so ambiguous about what that book is, but I don't want to spoil my August wrap up. Let me tell you about Starling House. It is described as a gothic fantasy, and I immediately added it to my basket. This book is set in Eden, Kentucky, and it is a small town with dark history and dark secrets. We follow Opal, who has just moved to Eden, and she is hoping for a fresh start and a better life for herself and her brother. A reclusive author named E. Starling used to live here. She published a book called The Underland and vanished shortly after it published. She left behind a mansion that became known as a Starling House, and it added to this air of mystery and the dark history of Eden. Going back to Opal, she takes a job as a housekeeper and works for the last Starling heir named Arthur. He is a recluse who keeps to himself, and everyone in town respects that and stays away from him too. As she starts her new job, she realizes that the house is very much alive and starts to uncover the dark secrets of Eden and the house itself. This book seems perfect for spooky season. It is a haunted house with supernatural events set in a mysterious small town. I love Alex Harrow's writing style, and I cannot wait to read another one of her books. Next on my list is Molka by Monica Kent. She is the author of Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazang. I'm not gonna lie, Bat Eater was right down the middle for me. I think I rated this one 3 stars. thrillers. Around the 60-70% mark, it took a turn into the paranormal realm, and while the story was good, it was just odd to me, like the direction that the book went in the end. Of course, I'm still willing to give this author another try, but please let's have a moment for the beautiful cover. Molka is a Korean term for small hidden cameras that have the intended use of voyeuristic purposes. People don't know they're being filmed in their private moments, and those moments are uploaded to the internet. In Molka, we follow Dae and her boyfriend. Upon becoming victims of the Molka epidemic, Dae's boyfriend leaves the country to avoid public scrutiny, leaving Dae behind to manage the fallout on her own. Amidst the chaos, Dae catches the attention of her coworker in IT. He has a dark secret. He is a part of the Molka epidemic. He has been spying on the women at work with hidden cameras and has become hyper fixated on Dae. Unfortunately for her coworker, and I say this sarcastically, Dae is not going down easy. Her pain turns into rage, and she wants the men that have caused her that pain to pay. It's giving female rage, and I cannot wait for Dae to turn the tables. I really hope I love this one. I want to pick up a trophy copy simply so I can stare at it. It's such a gorgeous book, and I hope it sticks the landing. This next book, I don't know why I picked it. I think it's gonna scare the hell out of me. This book is called Run for Your Life by Lucinda Berry, and it is only 72 pages, so I think we're gonna be hit with the action immediately. Riley goes on a run every morning, but one morning she is taken by a former coworker named Dennis. She wakes up bound in a lakeside cabin and is unable to escape until her injuries are better. While Dennis cares for her injuries, she realizes that she needs to come up with some sort of escape plan. This is giving misery 100%. I'm a runner myself, and I want this book to keep me on edge. I'm already paranoid when I run. I'm paranoid in general, and I think that this book is going to add to the paranoia that I feel, but I love being scared. I love the fear that books can cause, and I haven't been scared since I read Pen Pal. I think I can easily get through this book in one sitting, and I really want this book to scare me. I have more books by Lucinda Berry on my TBR, so I really hope I like this one so I can start reading through her backlist. Next up is When the Light Died by Josh Colvert. This is the first book in a series of 3. It is an apocalypse thriller set on a boat. I love a book that is like Clue or a murder mystery, and in this story, we are following Marlene, who is one of the few passengers chosen to board this luxury liner. The guests really don't know why they were invited, but they were each given a private letter from their host, along with a single set of coordinates. As soon as they depart, they are isolated in the middle of the ocean, and the secrets start unfolding. Why are the lowest decks sealed? What did everyone's letters say, and what awaits them at these coordinates that everyone was given? Already, this is reminding me of Woman in Cabin 10. I love books like this because I'm so nosy. I want to know everyone's secret, what was written on their letter, why are they there, why were they invited, and of course, what is awaiting them at these coordinates that they were given. Another book from my September releases is Scion. This book is described as a fast-paced cyberpunk thriller where John Wick meets Blade Runner. I said in my previous video, but I think this sounds so cool, and I love these story elements individually, and I'm really excited to see them come together. For those that have not watched my previous video, let me tell you a little bit about Scion. We follow a contract killer named Azure, and his targets are usually the ultra wealthy who have bought immortality, and they are called lifers. This time he is tasked with protecting a scientist, and if he succeeds, he gets information that he needs to figure out who killed his best friend a few years ago. That is all I really know about this one. The vibes alone are reason enough for me to have this one on pre-order. I love the cyberpunk video game, and I'm really excited for this story to take me back into this world. I wish more books were set in this world. I feel like this theme could make for a really interesting genre or setting. I started writing my own short stories based on the cyberpunk world just because I couldn't find the books and stories that I wanted. I heard once if you can't find the stories that you're looking for, that you should write them, and I love that idea. Next, I have Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson, and some of my favorite content creators like Pastel Bookshelf and What Michaela Reads spoke so highly of it, I needed to see what it was about. They mention in their reading vlogs and in their wrap-ups that something that happens on the last page is something that they still think about to this day. So I want to know what that is, and I love books that stick with you long after you finish them. I have those books too where they will come to mind randomly months later, and I still think of the twist or something that happened, and I'll be like stood in the grocery store like, oh my God, that really happened in a book. So to tell you a little bit about Bloom, this is a sapphic romance that takes a dark turn. We follow 2 women named Rosemary and Ash, and Rosemary meets Ash at a farmer's market. Rosemary becomes enthralled by her. She thinks Ash is perfect and has never felt this way about a woman before. So much so that it turns into obsession and it consumes Rosemary. The description says that she may find out that she's not the only one doing the devouring, and I already know these girls are eating folks. It's only 200 odd pages, so I think I can get through this one pretty fast. Similar to Lucinda Berry, I have other books from Delilah S. Dawson on my TBR like Guillotine, so I'm hoping I love Bloom so I can start working through her backlist as well. Second to last on my September TBR is The Gathering by CJ Tudor. I feel like CJ Tudor has been making her rounds on BookTube and Book Talk lately, like the book Serenity Falls. I don't know if it's the content creators I follow, but I feel like so many creators are reading Serenity Falls right now. So when I was at Barnes & Noble's again for that 50% off hardcover sale. When I saw her books on the Barnes & Noble's table, I was like, this is the same author that has been making her rounds on like every channel that I follow. Like I mentioned, I saw this book at Barnes & Noble's last week and I was drawn in by the cover, and upon reading the description, my spidey thriller senses did not lead me astray. We follow a detective investigating a grisly crime in rural Alaska, and one thing about me, give me an isolated setting and you have me hooked immediately. In The Gathering, we are following a detective named Barbara Adkins as she investigates the death of a young boy who has been attacked and his throat has been ripped out and he has been completely drained of blood. The inhabitants of this town haven't seen a crime like this in 25 years, but immediately know who the culprit is. It is one of the members of the colony, which is a vampire community living deep in the woods. Barbara gets the help of a former detective who knows the colony better than anyone. The description of this book tells us that this former detective almost lost his life in his investigation in the colony, and he has steered away from it ever since. The pair dives into this town's secrets, and it is so much darker than they could have expected. Like I said, I was drawn in by the cover. I saw the snow, the author, I read the summary and saw the rural setting of Alaska and immediately added it to my TBR. This is another book I think is going to be great for spooky season as it has mystery, vampire, and horror elements. Last but not least is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I really think I may be one of the last people on this earth that has not read a single one of her books before. I need to quickly deviate from the Throne of Glass because I need to vent to y'all about this hardcover sale. As I'm looking through the books that are on sale, there's like book 2 and 3 in the series, but not book 1. I understand it's meant to incentivize you to buy more books, but I was so annoyed. I would find books I was interested in, I would look them up on Goodreads, and then I would see it's like book 3 in a series, and I was like, oh. Also, stickers on book covers. I know that anyone that loves books already doesn't like stickers on the front of their books because it leaves the adhesive, the residue behind. The ones that really get me are the like now on Netflix stickers. I do not want that on my book forever. Stop doing that. Oh, I need to take a deep breath. I went to the bookstore over the weekend and I just had it bottled up and held inside of me for the last couple days. But I was so annoyed, like having these series that I have to start like all the way from the beginning. I'm like, how about you like go on sale with like book 1 or something so I can get into the series, see if I like it, come back for book 2, that type of incentive. Anyway, the tangent is over. I'm so sorry. Thank you for listening. Barnes & Noble's like really got under my skin over the weekend and I had to tell someone. Anyway, Throne of Glass, Sarah J. Maas, what I should be talking about. Let me tell you a little bit about this book. I've steered away from Sarah J. Maas because I thought her books were too high fantasy for me. My best friend recommended that I read the ACOTAR series a couple years ago, and initially I said like, no, like I'm okay, like I can't really get into that type of fantasy. I was browsing my Libby app for available audiobooks and Throne of Glass was one of them, and after I read the description, it piqued my interest. In this book, we're following a female assassin named Selena Sardothian. She has been in prison for her crimes, but is soon called upon by the king to be his champion. The prince and his guards come to get Selena from the labor camp that she's currently at, and she is taken back to the glass castle. While here, she'll compete against 23 other competitors. If she wins, she'll be named the king's champion, and she will essentially be his personal assassin, but if she completes her 5 years of service, she will gain her freedom. We follow Selena through this competition, and her competitors mysteriously start dying one by one. Something evil is going on in the glass castle, and she has to figure out what it is so she can win and survive. I am on chapter 14 right now, and it is just laying the foundation of the story. I've been getting to know Selena, Prince Dorian, Kale, who is the captain of the King's Guard. We just met all of Selena's competitors, and she is keeping her identity a secret so no one knows that she is this renowned assassin. I am loving it so far. I've been waking up earlier to read it before work, and that's always a good sign. I have 2 more books as runner-ups in case I burn through my TBR like I did in August, and those 2 books are A Study in Drowning and The Burning Library. I'm traveling a lot in September, and I always overestimate how much reading I can really get done. I always think I'll read at the airport, at the gate, in my hotel, but once you get back to your hotel after a full day of being out, like for me personally, my brain just turns off and I will not retain anything that I read. So I've kept my TBR ambitious but manageable. If you made it to the end through my tangent of Sarah J. Maas and stickers and now on Netflix, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I would love to see you around here again. As always, I appreciate you being here and I will see you in the next one.